High school, a place supposedly full of sunshine, sweat, and awkward misunderstandings. But some misunderstandings can't be fixed with a simple my bad. And just like that, what seemed like a harmless poke instantly lit a fuse. Bro, the vibe just took a nosedive for real. A weak defense always sounds pathetic to a bully. And there it is, the classic escalation from just kidding to how dare you talk back. Welcome to the jungle. But then, footsteps in the hall. The teacher. Everyone holds their breath, thinking justice is about to be served. But life, man, it loves a good plot twist. Plot twist indeed. The teacher just casually says, "Stop fooling around." Fooling around? Bro, I'm shattered. That dismissal hurt more than the actual punch. And in that moment, I got it. The so-called adults? They don't actually care. Counting on them is like trying to download a car. It ain't happening. So, this helplessness became my new normal. The school bell wasn't freedom. It just meant it was time to be a background character in a different room. They even started joking about me not having parents. In GL, sometimes words cut way deeper than fists ever could. Of course, the fists were never far behind. In this school, being weak was the original sin. All you could do was take it. It wasn't until that day that I truly understood the law of this jungle. The only thing that stops a bully is a bigger bully. Here, might is right, and it can change a person's entire life in an instant. I was done having my life decided by someone else. From that day on, I was determined to become stronger than anyone. Days blurred into a montage of sweat and effort. Just one more. The soreness in my muscles was the only proof that I was changing. It was like the universe was finally on my side. I hit a massive growth spurt. By the time I walked back into that school, the entire vibe in the hallway was different. I released all my pent-up frustration at once. I made sure that no one would ever look down on me again. But sadly, it didn't take long for everything to fall apart. So, ding, welcome to my disgraced present self. A high school dropout working part-time at a convenience store, studying for his GED. Yep, that's me. I'm the designated bully. School violence. A problem adults can no longer keep in check. But even these punks are nothing before a much stronger bully. And so, a daring project was born, basically fighting fire with fire. Sound cool in theory, but right now I just want to work my shift and study for my exam. Trouble, however, has a way of finding you. I was really trying to be the bigger person here, but these punks clearly weren't going to let some ordinary convenience store clerk off the hook. The manager leaves, and cue the underage kids trying to buy smokes. Sigh. All I wanted was a quiet shift. Is that too much to ask? Can I see some ID? Bro, I live down the block. Why would I have that? The classic punk dialogue. Not only do they have no manners, they love to add things to their order. Finally, after the third time I asked for ID, his patience and my sanity both clocked out for the day. And yep, he's getting physical. The boss is worried about making a scene, so he tells me to take it outside. The punks think I'm scared and get even cockier. They have no idea they're tap dancing on the edge of a cliff. I decided to give them a chance. I'll give you 3 seconds. And they laughed. Laughed like I was some B-movie villain with cheesy dialogue. We didn't even get a 3. Slap. A crisp sound, and the world went quiet. I honestly wasn't even trying. Dude gets knocked out by one slap and still has the nerve to claim I sucker punched him. All right, cue the classic next step, calling for backup. His bros showed up pretty quick. Seeing their boy kneeling on the ground, the leader of the pack seemed a little confused about the situation. "Hey, who the hell are you?" he asks. Before I could answer, my hand had a mind of its own and just went for it. Sorry, muscle memory. Another one-hit KO. His friends were completely stunned. I sighed. Looks like I'm not clocking out early tonight. All of you can come to me at once. I'm in a hurry. And so began an unscheduled street brawl. And to be honest, these kids punched like they were hitting a pillow. Dodge, block, counter. The whole thing was so smooth, it felt more like a one-sided tutorial level. One of them even got desperate and grabbed a weapon. Bro, a bottle? You think this is a movie? So amateur. In the blink of an eye, only one was left standing. He looked at me, his eyes filled with fear and a flicker of unbelievable recognition. Are you Daegun Kwon? The legendary name, the one who unified the entire Incheon area, escaped his trembling lips. Once my identity was confirmed, their attitude did a complete 180 and the apologies started flowing. Sigh. If you knew this would happen, why even start? I had them line up for a little re-education. Instead of studying, you're out here causing trouble? What a waste. Not gonna lie, it felt good to let loose after so long. I was dragging my tired body home when a strange woman blocked my path. She said she was from the Jimryong Education Foundation and made me an offer, a ridiculous offer to send me back to high school. I can't believe it. At 20 years old, I'm actually wearing a school uniform again. This feels weird. A designated bully. I took a sip of water and nearly spit it out. You're asking me to bully other bullies? Damn, their HR department is getting creative. She saw my desperate situation and knew I didn't have the luxury to refuse. Fine. For a chance at a normal life, I'll take this absurd deal. And just like that, I became the senior transfer student at Jumryong High. First thing I hear is them talking about their bread delivery boy quitting. Looks like every class has its own food chain. The teacher leads me in. I am Daegun Kwon from Incheon. Nice to meet you all. I hope not too many of my new classmates will need a hands-on introduction. My arrival clearly caused a stir. The girls were fixing their makeup, while the guys who looked like trouble were sizing me up like fresh meat. I'd barely sat down before the class tough guy tried to give me a welcome punch. I ignored him, calmly put on my glasses, and said I needed to study. He clearly did not expect that reaction. He swung, and I dodged without even looking up. He probably doesn't realize my 20/20 vision can see a lot more than just the chalkboard. Plan A failed, so he switched targets to my new desk mate, telling him to be the new bread boy. Heh, a classic diversion tactic. My desk mate was terrified and about to agree, but I cut him off. Then I told the whole class to close their eyes. And they actually did. Guess the top dog in this class isn't as scary as he thinks. The foundation gave me a ton of rules. Keep it secret, no excessive violence, don't fight without justification. I'm thinking, how am I supposed to get anything done? It's like asking a lion to fight with a leash on. But that woman also said, a school is a jungle, and a chained lion can't be king. Is she hinting that I should be a little more flexible? Back in the classroom, these clowns are still running their mouths, even suggesting my desk mate and I go together. 2 delivery boys? What is this, a group order? Fine, I said, holding out my hand. Give me some money. That little Uno reverse card completely short-circuited their brains. He got triggered, started running his mouth, and even brought up parents. Perfect. Now I have justification. Remember, you threw the first punch. I grabbed his wrist, and in one clean motion, sent him flying. It was so fast, he probably didn't even process what happened. At school, fists make the rules. And today, my fists are the teacher. His buddy charged in, so I told him to clench his teeth. Because this was gonna hurt. A precise shot to the gut, and just like that, he's out of the fight. Told you to clench your teeth. The first guy actually grabbed a chair. Point for bravery, I guess. But his brain, definitely not his strong suit. Easy peasy. I dusted off my hands. Man, that felt good. I guess this is what being a designated bully is all about. They still weren't convinced, saying I only beat the minions and the real boss of the class was someone else. Oh, a hidden boss appears? Speak of the devil. A cocky-looking redhead in slippers shows up. So he's their ace, huh? Doesn't look like much to me. Making a scene on your first day, huh? He finally speaks, his tone dripping with condescension. Looks like round 2 is about to begin. This guy says we're not going to fight, but his body language says otherwise. That's a subtle kickboxing stance. He's ready to go at any moment. His crew is hyping him up on the sidelines, acting like he's unbeatable. Heh, the more they talk, the more I want to see what he's really made of. He walks up, suggesting we introduce ourselves. I'm manhwa no Daegun Kwon. All right, pleasantries are over. Let's do this. The words are barely out of his mouth before he uses a hand chop to block my vision while aiming a kick downstairs. Whoa, this guy fights dirty. The low blow. An unspoken forbidden move amongst men. The attacker will face social consequences as well as the weight of their actions. Please don't try this at home. But it's pure male instinct to block an attack like that. He was counting on it. Too bad for him, I caught his follow-up punch. So that's his combo. A fake low blow to draw out the block, creating an opening for an uppercut. It's a smart move, not gonna lie, but not smart enough. I used his momentum against him, grabbing his arm and throwing him clean across the hall. You want to play tactical? You're about 100 years too early. He gets back up, saying that was just a warm-up and now he'll fight for real. His friends chime in that he's a legit kickboxer now. I bet. I'm waiting. He charges again, and yeah, he's faster and stronger this time. But he seems to have forgotten, when it comes to fighting, I'm kind of pro myself. He tries to use brute force, even has his friend jump in. Big mistake. I just used his buddy as a convenient human shield. Are we done messing around? I ask. Nope, he says. Gotta respect the persistence. Then let's end it. One solid punch, and he's on the floor. This time, he's not getting back up. The top bully of the class, manhwa no K.O.D. The entire hallway goes silent. I shake my fist, thinking, seriously? This is the best this school has to offer? I tell his crew to take him to the nurse's office, and once he's awake, all 3 of them are to report back to me. That's right. It's time to bring some order to this class. And all of this, it seems, was being watched by the project manager. She looked satisfied with my efficiency. Heh, just doing my job, ma'am. In front of the whole class, I gave the former bullies a little lecture. A school is a place for studying. Stop with the childish acts. The secondhand embarrassment was real. I told them that from now on, I'm a new sheriff in this town. If anyone gets bullied or sees bullying, they report to me. I'll rehabilitate them one by one. My little show had just ended, but the gossip mill in the next class over was already churning. Looks like a new challenger is already on their way. This Sangbo they're talking about is apparently on another level than Manho. And right now, he's telling his lackey to get another punching bag ready for him. And by punching bag, he means an actual person. This guy isn't just strong, he's a monster. Looks like my next opponent is going to be a real handful. Class 3's top bully, Sangbo Shim. His warm-up is literally beating up his classmates. Okay, good to know. You're next on my list. This second shot at high school actually isn't so bad. Even with this ridiculous designated bully program, I'm going to use this opportunity to shake off my past and be reborn as an all-new Daegun Kwon. I started actually paying attention in class, even borrowing notes. Meanwhile, the former bullies, while quiet, still haven't gotten used to a life without their personal delivery service. They started trying to convince Manho to get revenge on me outside of school. Some people just never learn, do they? Right then, the class beauty actually comes over to talk to me, inviting me to take jujitsu classes together. This sudden romantic development has me completely off guard. Whoa, she's too close. I think I'll just stare at the blackboard. I can handle a fight, but dealing with girls? I'm a total noob. I quickly changed the subject, telling the guys still plotting revenge to just study instead. But their response actually reminded me of something. By beating Manho, I became the top dog of Class 1, which means, according to the rules of this place, the bosses from Class 2 and Class 3 will be coming to visit me very soon. And speak of the devil, again. The top bully from Class 2, Myong Jung Kim, a blondie, shows up at our classroom door with his crew. He starts by mocking Manho, so clearly they've got some history. Then his eyes lock onto me. Their arguing was giving me a headache. Can you guys keep it down? I interrupted. You're disturbing my studies. This blondie clearly didn't take me seriously. He walked right up to my desk and started talking trash, probably thinking the glasses made me look like an easy target. He kept running his mouth, but I just focused on my notes. My complete lack of reaction seemed to piss him off more than any comeback could have. Finally, he lost his patience and reached for me. Without looking up, I grabbed his wrist and said quietly, "Break time is precious. If you want to lose your fingers, bother me again." He was spooked by my strength, but his pride wouldn't let him back down. Humiliated, he lunged at me. The result? An instant takedown, of course. I didn't even have to stand up. So much for the top bully of Class 2. I told his crew to drag him away and pass on a message. Next time, I won't be so gentle. Did I just accidentally take over another class? That's pretty convenient. Seeing Myong Jung's pathetic state, Manho and his crew completely gave up on revenge and decided to actually start studying. My rehabilitation program is already showing results. But I barely got 2 minutes of peace before the boss of Class 3, Sangbo Shim, showed up. "Bro, did you guys schedule appointments to get beat up or something?" He walked right up to me, clearly wanted to get straight to the point. "All right, fine." I closed my notebook. Looks like these notes will have to wait. Of course, Sangbo's crew just wouldn't shut up, hitting me with all this passive-aggressive trash talk. All I wanted was to copy some notes in peace. Was that really too much to ask? I finally snapped. "Bro, just get to the point. Stop wasting my precious study time." And just as expected, he challenged me to a fight after school. Works for me. The second they left, the classroom erupted. Man, the gossip mill fired up instantly. But from the sounds of it, Sangbo isn't exactly Mr. Popular, is he? Just then, an unexpected face approached me. Manho. What's his deal now? Did my rehabilitation work? So, well, he wants to become my disciple or something? And then he said, "You want to help me?" Did I hear that right? The guy who wanted my head a few days ago now wants to be my ally? Plot twist. Turns out he was here to offer tactical advice. He said Sangbo's been boxing since middle school, but never competes. And I'm thinking, what kind of weird character backstory is that? He boxes purely for entertainment. And his idea of entertainment is using other people as his personal punching bags. He even has his own twisted logic. He's not bullying, he's just giving the weak free lessons. Seriously, this guy is a master-level gaslighter. And his lessons? Just one-sided, relentless beatings. Any form of resistance or dodging would just result in a more brutal retaliation. In his world, this isn't a fight. It's pure, twisted entertainment. He'd constantly humiliate you with his words, breaking your will until you were completely shattered. Long story short, the guy's a complete psycho who just enjoys violence. I was silent for a moment after hearing all that. Next thing I knew, it was lunchtime. Not gonna lie, seeing a school meal again made me a little nostalgic. It sure beats the expiring food I used to eat from the convenience store. I barely got to enjoy this normal school life for a few seconds before I became the center of attention. The legend of me one-shotting my opponents was already spreading like wildfire. Right when it was getting awkward, Sunghwa, Manho, and their crew just casually sat down, instantly turning my solo table into a full-blown party. Wait, isn't this moving a little too fast? My social anxiety is kicking in. Before I could even get used to this chaos, Manho pulled the conversation right back on track. He'd given me all this intel on Sangbo, but what I really wanted to know was, what's his angle? His answer came in the form of a not-so-glorious memory. Turns out, he and Sangbo had fought before, and he got completely dominated. Just when he was about to lose, in a moment of desperation, he used a forbidden technique he swore he'd never use again. Sangbo surrendered on the spot, but refused to accept the loss afterward. Hell, what a sore loser. Manho summed it up. He's a classic outboxer who relies on footwork to dodge and counters with fast, precise strikes. And that's why he wants to help me. He knows that if I lose, Sangbo will take over the entire grade. Meanwhile, on the other side of the cafeteria, Sangbo's already warming up. Looks like he's taking this seriously. Sangbo himself wasn't there, but his lackeys were busy acting tough, accidentally spilling food on someone's tray with that smug oopsie grin. How childish can you get? I couldn't just watch, so I grabbed his arm. I think he got the wrong idea, expecting a fight. Nah, I just needed to correct him on a factual error. Those are bellflower roots, not squid. Bro, get your facts straight.